All right, we're going to look at a modified version of the Slingshot or the Breaking Bad, where kind of the context of this is we have a repeller on an auto block kind of device, whether it's an assaulter or a climbing team member, that is now injured, shot, can't move. We need to break this tension line system and convert that into a raise. So this is obviously with somebody who's doing something rapid on an egress and basically just basket hitches in, clips in, and goes, so we don't have a contingency anchor that we can work with and build any other system. It's not rigged as a rig to lower. So we actually have to break that tension of their weight in there, including the tension and the friction that's on that edge, and turn this into a mechanical advantage to bring them up. We're going to be using just this stuff that's in the AVR, and we'll kind of talk about this and go through it. So the first thing we're going to do, just for cleanliness, and you'll see when we add a separate anchor, it kind of covers our ability to do this, is we're going to use the VT, and we're going to go ahead and create a climb heist. This is kind of critical because when we do this, we're going to be pulling on a 1-to-1 or a 3-to-1 to break that system. And then once we break it, we're going to have some slack that we're going to turn this into a 3-to-1 Spanish Burton really quick. And the way that this grabs is critical. So because we have it as a climb heist, when this is pulling to break that, once it switches over into a 3-to-1 Burton, this is going to become part of our system. And if we were using, let's say, something like a rope man, we'd have to have it rigged one way here, and then once it breaks, we'd have to switch it around. So we won't have to do that if we use the VT prusik up here. Next, we're going to create our anchor. So we create our separate anchor, and on this, we're going to be placing our Spoc. The Spoc is going to go just like it's going to become our mechanical advantage, so the cam will be facing that anchor. Just be cautious of which way you want your haul line on. It's going to be on the opposite side of where your cam is. If I wanted my haul line on the other side, I would just flip this around and rig it, and then I'd be building my haul line over here. We're going to have it just like this because this is our workspace, and we can go ahead and activate that cam by pulling that forward and settling that down so it grabs going backwards. We're now going to come in here, rig this in, and we're going to pull this forward as far as we can. So we're going to tension that back all the way up here. That's why we tied our VT on first. It's just once you have this on here, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to rig this. On our VT, we're going to go ahead and put our roll clip in. Roll clip will sit here. This is shoved all the way up to the knot or into the sewn loop that we have. And now we're going to go ahead and put our rope man on with a carabiner. We're going to put our rope man on just like we normally would, as we would with the 3-to-1, where it's able to roll forward and grabs going back. All right, so now we have our basic components set up. We're going to now take our prusik. Normally we have it loaded. We're going to go into the longest configuration. So it's going to be right in here. This loop is going to click right into our lead carabiner. This line is going to go right into our roll clip. We can spread that forward a little bit and see where we're going. So we'll do this in kind of a compact area. Now this is where kind of people get messed up on when they're counting tensions. I'm going to be pulling on this, so it looks like I'm pulling on a 2-to-1, but realize we're not pulling the anchor. We're pulling the load. So this is actually just going to be a 1-to-1 with a change of direction. So if you have enough guys, you probably can go ahead and pull this, because we only need to break and pull probably a couple inches to be able to break this tension to be able to release their anchor. If you're just by yourself or you only have 2 people and that load is kind of heavy, feel free to go ahead and you can run that right through and create yourself a 3-to-1 to be able to break this system. Know that we don't have a pulley, so you're going to have extra friction, but like I said before, you're not having to move a whole bunch of this. So I can set that up just a little bit further out, and now as I pull, I want you to see kind of what's going on here in this critical area. As we pull, we get slack. This is not on a progressive capture, this piggyback, so if I let go, I lose it. So as we pull in there, we need to take that slack out and move that forward. Once we have a little bit of slack in there like we have there, this is kind of like what a progressive capture is on our main line, so we need to just pull that. If we're having a hard time, we can always put this into our harness, go back hands-free just using our body weight, and then we have both hands to be able to manipulate them. Once we have that broken, we're good. We can send this back out, and now we just got that slack, we captured it in here, so now we have slack in this portion, which we can then unhook their anchor and their carabiner and let that hang down. Now you'll see this turns into our system. So this now goes from that 1-to-1 or 3-to-1. We can move this up here, and now we will be working a 3-to-1 Spanish Burton. So as soon as that flicks around, now we just go, and if we think about it, this is a 3-to-1 Spanish Burton, which is a complex system. So if you want to count tensions on it, 1 goes in, 1 comes out, 2 is sitting here, that 1 continues on, and deadlocks right here, so that stops. That 2-to-1 that we had, or the 1 goes in, 1 goes out, and we have a 2 here. 2 will go in, 2 will come out, so we'll have 4 tensions on our anchor. That 2 comes down, meets with our 1, and it's a 3. So this is a 3-to-1 Spanish Burton. So as that extends, we can pull this up, and then we can extend and reset that way, and we can also pull and reset in that way.